Imagine this. You set a big goal for yourself. Maybe you want to get fit, start a business, or finally stick to a morning routine. On the first day, you're fired up. On the second day, you're still excited. But by the third week, the excitement is gone. You feel tired, lazy, and you start telling yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow." Before you know it, your dream is slipping away, and you're back to square one. Sound familiar? You're not alone. This happens to almost everyone because motivation doesn't last. The truth is, motivation is like a burst of energy. It feels amazing at the start, but it fades quickly. If you rely on motivation alone, you'll never reach your full potential. Here's the real secret. Success is built on consistency, not motivation. The most successful people in the world don't wait until they feel like working. They push themselves to show up every single day, even when it's boring, uncomfortable, or hard. That's how they grow. That's how they win. Consistency is like compound interest for your life. Every small action you take adds up over time, creating unstoppable momentum. In this video, I'll share 8 powerful ways to force yourself to be consistent, even on the days when you want to quit. These tips will help you break through excuses, stay disciplined, and finally achieve the goals you've been dreaming of. Chapter 1. Build a strong why. When it comes to staying consistent, the very first thing you need to understand is why you are doing what you're doing. Without a clear and powerful reason, you will lose your motivation the moment things get hard. Think about it. If you wake up at 5 a.m. to exercise, but you don't have a deep reason behind it, hitting the snooze button will always win. However, if you're doing it because you want to live a longer life for your kids, or because you want to transform your health so you feel confident every single day, that reason will push you out of bed, even when you don't want to. Your why is your fuel. It's what drives you when your body feels tired and your mind is screaming to give up. Without a strong why, your goals will always feel like a burden. Imagine 2 people running a marathon. The first person is just running because they feel like it. The second person is running to raise money for their sick child's medical treatment. Who do you think will keep going when their legs are on fire and their lungs are burning? Of course, the second person. That's the power of having a strong why. It gives meaning to the pain and effort. A lot of people fail to stay consistent because they set goals for shallow reasons. They want to lose weight just to look good for a party, or they want to make money only to buy flashy things to impress others. These kinds of reasons are too weak to sustain you when life gets tough. When the excitement fades, so does your commitment. This is why you need to go deeper. Ask yourself, why does this really matter to me? What will it cost me if I don't stay consistent? How will my life improve if I succeed? The answers to these questions will light a fire inside you. Write down your why and keep it somewhere visible. It could be a note on your phone, a sticky note on your mirror, or even a picture that represents your goal. For example, if your goal is to get healthier so you can be there for your family, keep a picture of your loved ones on your desk or in your wallet. Every time you feel like skipping a workout or breaking your diet, look at that picture and remind yourself of the bigger purpose behind your actions. This simple step can instantly reignite your motivation and help you push through tough moments. Another key to building a strong why is to connect it to your identity. When you see yourself as someone who follows through, you'll naturally act in alignment with that identity. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to read more books," tell yourself, "I am a reader." Instead of saying, "I want to run a marathon," say, "I am a runner." This shift may seem small, but it's incredibly powerful. When you tie your actions to who you are, instead of just what you do, consistency becomes part of your character rather than a temporary effort. Think of someone you deeply admire, maybe a world-class athlete, a successful entrepreneur, or even a person you know personally who is incredibly disciplined. They didn't become that way overnight. They built habits, one step at a time, fueled by a strong why that kept them moving forward. Michael Jordan didn't wake up motivated every single day to practice basketball, but his why, to be the greatest player of all time, kept him on the court, even when no one was watching. Your why doesn't have to be huge or dramatic, but it does need to be personal and meaningful. Maybe you want financial freedom so you can take care of your parents. Maybe you want to write a book because you have a story that could inspire millions. Maybe you want to improve your health so you can live long enough to see your grandchildren grow up. Whatever it is, make sure it touches your heart and stirs your emotions. Logical reasons might get you started, but emotional reasons keep you going. Once you have your why, visualize the results of staying consistent. Close your eyes and imagine your future self, the person who has achieved your goals. See how they look, how they feel, and how their life has changed. Now, do the opposite. Imagine what your life will be like if you quit. Feel the disappointment, the regret, and the pain of letting yourself down. This mental exercise will create a sense of urgency and help you realize that staying consistent isn't just about reaching a goal. It's about shaping the life you want to live. Finally, don't be afraid to share your why with someone you trust. Telling others about your reason creates accountability. It's much harder to quit when someone else knows what you're working toward. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, tell a friend or family member about it and share why it matters so much to you. When you feel like giving up, their encouragement can remind you of the bigger picture and keep you moving forward. In the end, consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up day after day because your why is stronger than your excuses. So, take time to uncover the deep reason behind your goals. Let it inspire you, let it challenge you, and let it guide you every step of the way. When your why is clear, staying consistent won't feel like a chore. It will feel like a mission you're destined to complete. Chapter 2. Create a clear and realistic plan. Once you've built a strong why, the next step to forcing yourself to be consistent is creating a clear and realistic plan. A dream without a plan is just a wish. Many people fail to stay consistent not because they lack motivation, but because they don't know exactly what to do next. When your goals are vague, it's easy to procrastinate or feel overwhelmed. That's why clarity is so important. You need to break your big goal into small, actionable steps that you can follow every day. And think of your goal like a long road trip. If you just start driving without a map or GPS, you'll probably get lost, frustrated, and eventually give up. But if you have clear directions, you'll know exactly where to turn, when to stop, and how to reach your destination. Your plan is that GPS for success. For example, instead of saying, "I want to get in shape," Your plan should be specific. I will work out for 30 minutes at 7 a.m., 5 days a week, and follow a healthy meal plan. This level of clarity removes confusion and makes it easier to take consistent action. Start by writing down your main goal, then break it into smaller milestones. Let's say your goal is to save $5,000 in 6 months. That might feel overwhelming at first, but if you break it down, you'll see that you need to save about $833 per month, or roughly $28 per day. Suddenly, the goal feels more achievable because you know exactly what's required each day. This same principle works for any area of life: fitness, career, relationships, or personal growth. It's also important to be realistic. Many people fail to stay consistent because they set goals that are too extreme. If you haven't exercised in years, don't expect to work out for 2 hours every single day. That's a recipe for burnout and frustration. Instead, start small. Commit to 15 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. Then gradually increase the time and frequency as you build strength and discipline. Small, consistent steps create lasting progress, while giant leaps often lead to quitting. Another key part of your plan is scheduling. If you don't set aside time for your goal, life will get in the way. Treat your goal like an important appointment that you can't miss. For instance, if you want to write a book, block out 30 minutes every evening to write, and protect that time fiercely. Don't wait until you feel like it, or until you have time. Make the time. When something is scheduled, it becomes a priority rather than an afterthought. To strengthen your plan even further, anticipate obstacles. Life will always throw challenges at you, so think ahead about what might derail your consistency. Maybe you know that weekends are chaotic, or that certain friends tempt you to skip your routine. Plan for those situations in advance. If you usually get too tired to exercise after work, schedule your workouts in the morning. If you tend to overspend when shopping, bring only the amount of cash you need and leave your credit card at home. By preparing for obstacles, you reduce the chances of getting thrown off track. It also helps to track your progress. When you see evidence of your growth, you'll feel more motivated to keep going. You can use a simple notebook, a calendar, or a digital app to track your daily actions. For example, every time you complete a workout, put a big X on your calendar. As the chain of X's grows, you won't want to break it. This visual reminder is powerful because it shows that your consistency is paying off. Lastly, reward yourself for sticking to your plan. The reward doesn't have to be big. It could be something simple like enjoying your favorite snack, watching a movie, or taking a relaxing break. These small celebrations reinforce positive behavior and make the process more enjoyable. Just be careful not to reward yourself in a way that sabotages your progress. For example, don't reward a week of healthy eating with a massive junk food binge. Instead, choose rewards that support your overall goal. A clear and realistic plan gives you structure and direction. It turns your goal from an overwhelming dream into a series of manageable steps. When you know exactly what to do and when to do it, staying consistent becomes much easier. Remember, success doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of careful planning and daily action. Take the time to create a roadmap for your goals, and then follow it one step at a time. Before you know it, your consistent efforts will lead you to the life you've always wanted. Chapter 3. Build systems and routines that work for you. Once you have a strong why and a clear plan, The next crucial step to staying consistent is to build systems and routines that make it easier to follow through. Willpower alone is not enough to keep you going day after day. Even the most disciplined people in the world don't rely solely on willpower. They design their environment and routines in a way that supports their goals. When you create systems, you remove unnecessary decision-making and reduce the chances of slipping back into bad habits. Think about it this way. Every time you have to make a decision, your mental energy is drained. If you wake up and ask yourself, "Should I work out today or not?" you've already opened the door for excuses. But if you've built a routine where working out is simply part of your morning, just like brushing your teeth, you don't have to think about it. You just do it. This is why systems are so powerful. They turn difficult actions into automatic habits. Start by identifying key triggers that will help you stick to your routine. For instance, if your goal is to exercise, set out your workout clothes and shoes the night before. That way, when you wake up, everything is ready to go, and you're less likely to skip. If you want to read more books, keep a book on your pillow so that when you go to bed, you'll be reminded to read a few pages before sleeping. These little cues signal your brain that it's time to take action, making consistency much easier. Another effective strategy is habit stacking, where you attach a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you want to start meditating, do it right after you brush your teeth in the morning. If you want to write in a journal, do it right after your evening cup of tea. By connecting a new behavior to something you already do regularly, you create a natural flow that makes it easier to remember and stick to your goal. It's also essential to simplify your environment so it supports your progress. If you're trying to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in your house. If you want to focus on work, clear distractions from your workspace. Your environment should make the right choice, the easy choice. For example, if your phone constantly distracts you while working, leave it in another room or use apps that block social media during your work hours. The fewer temptations you face, the easier it becomes to stay consistent. One common mistake people make is trying to change too many things at once. This often leads to overwhelm and failure. Instead, start small and build gradually. Focus on one or two key habits and master them before adding more. For instance, if you want to improve your health, start by drinking more water and walking 15 minutes a day. Once those habits feel automatic, add strength training or meal prepping. Slow, steady progress may seem less exciting, but it's far more sustainable in the long run. Another key element of building effective systems is tracking your routine and reviewing your progress. Just like a pilot checks the instruments while flying, you need to check in with yourself regularly to make sure you're on course. Set aside a few minutes each week to review what worked, what didn't, and what you can adjust. This reflection will help you stay aware of your habits and prevent small slip-ups from turning into major setbacks. Finally, make your routines enjoyable whenever possible. If you hate every moment of the process, you won't stick with it. Find ways to make the journey fun. For example, if you dread exercising, try dancing, hiking, or playing a sport instead of forcing yourself to do something you dislike. If you want to read more, choose books that truly excite you. When you enjoy the process, consistency feels natural instead of like a constant struggle. Building systems and routines takes effort at first, but over time, they become second nature. You won't have to rely on sheer discipline because your environment, triggers, and habits will work together to keep you on track. This is how successful people achieve amazing results without burning out. They don't just push harder, they work smarter. By designing a life that supports your goals, you make consistency almost automatic. Chapter 4. Embrace the power of accountability. No matter how strong your willpower is, there will be days when you feel like giving up. That's why having accountability is one of the most powerful tools for staying consistent. When you know someone is watching, supporting, or checking on your progress, you are far more likely to follow through. It's human nature. We don't like to let others down. Think about this. If you promise yourself you'll wake up at 6 a.m. to go for a run, it's easy to hit the snooze button and convince yourself you'll do it tomorrow. But if a friend is waiting outside to run with you, suddenly you'll push yourself to get up no matter how tired you feel. Accountability adds an extra layer of responsibility and pushes you to keep your word, even when your motivation fades. Start by finding an accountability partner. This could be a friend, family member, or coworker who shares a similar goal, or simply someone who is willing to check in on your progress. Make a clear agreement with them about what you're trying to achieve and how often they'll follow up. For example, if your goal is to write a book, you might agree to send them your word count every Friday. If you skip a week, they'll call you out on it. Just knowing someone will notice keeps you on track. If you can't find a personal accountability partner, join a group or community where people are working towards similar goals. For instance, if you're trying to lose weight, join a fitness class or an online support group. If you want to build a business, find a mastermind group or a local networking circle. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals creates positive peer pressure. You'll want to keep up with the group, and their progress will inspire you to stay consistent. Another powerful form of accountability is public commitment. When you announce your goals to others, whether on social media, to your friends, or in a group setting, you create a sense of external pressure. For example, if you post online that you're training for a marathon, you'll feel more driven to stick to your training schedule because you don't want to face the embarrassment of failing publicly. This method might feel scary, but that's exactly why it works. It raises the stakes and forces you to take your commitment seriously. You can also hold yourself accountable by tracking your progress visually. Use a wall calendar, journal, or app to record your daily actions. Each time you complete a task, mark it off with a check mark or a big X. Over time, you'll build a streak that you won't want to break. This technique, often called "don't break the chain," was famously used by comedian Jerry Seinfeld to stay consistent with writing jokes every day. The longer your streak grows, the more motivated you'll feel to keep it going. 2. Another way to strengthen accountability is through rewards and consequences. Give yourself a small reward for sticking to your plan, like watching your favorite show, enjoying a special treat, or taking a relaxing break. On the flip side, create a consequence for missing your goal. For example, you might decide that if you skip a workout, you'll have to donate $20 to a charity or do extra chores around the house. These stakes make the cost of inconsistency real, which can be incredibly motivating. It's also important to be honest with yourself. Accountability only works if you track your actions truthfully. Don't cheat or make excuses. If you mess up, admit it, learn from it, and get back on track immediately. Remember, consistency isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Missing one day won't ruin your success, but lying to yourself or repeatedly breaking promises will. Finally, celebrate your wins with your accountability partner or group. Share your progress and allow others to celebrate with you. This positive reinforcement strengthens your commitment and reminds you why your efforts matter. Over time, the support and encouragement you receive will make the journey more enjoyable and sustainable. Accountability transforms consistency from a lonely struggle into a shared mission. When you know others are rooting for you and watching your progress, you'll find the strength to keep going, even when you want to quit. Whether it's a friend, a group, or even a public promise, accountability creates a powerful safety net that keeps you moving forward toward your dreams. Chapter 5. Learn to push through boredom and discomfort. One of the biggest reasons people fail to stay consistent is simple. They get bored or uncomfortable. At the beginning of any new journey, there's excitement. You feel motivated and energized because everything feels fresh and inspiring. But after a few weeks or months, that initial excitement fades. The workouts feel repetitive, the studying feels endless, the process feels slow. This is the point where most people quit, not because they aren't capable, but because they mistake boredom for failure. Here's the truth. Boredom and discomfort are part of growth. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you must be willing to keep going, even when the process isn't exciting. Think about professional athletes. Do you think they feel thrilled every single time they practice the same drills day after day, year after year? Of course not. But they keep showing up because they understand that greatness comes from repetition, not from constant excitement. The same is true for you. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll never build momentum. Instead, you must train yourself to push through those dull, uncomfortable moments. The reward comes later, but you have to earn it by staying the course. One powerful strategy for dealing with boredom is to focus on the bigger picture rather than the daily grind. When the small tasks feel tedious, remind yourself of why you started. For instance, if you're tired of saving money and cutting expenses, visualize the dream home or financial freedom you're working toward. If you feel bored during a workout, picture the strong, healthy body you'll have 6 months from now. Connecting the mundane tasks to a meaningful future keeps you motivated when the present feels dull. Another helpful approach is to change your perspective on discomfort. Most people view discomfort as a signal to stop. The moment things feel hard, they assume something is wrong. But discomfort is actually a sign of progress. Just like muscles grow when they're pushed beyond their limits, your character grows when you challenge yourself. Instead of running away from discomfort, start to embrace it. Tell yourself, "This feeling means I'm getting stronger." Over time, you'll begin to see discomfort as proof that you're on the right path. It's also useful to break tasks into smaller chunks. Boredom often comes from staring at a huge, overwhelming project. If your goal is to write a 300-page book, thinking about the entire thing will paralyze you. But if you focus on writing just 1 page today, the task becomes manageable and far less boring. Small, consistent actions not only make progress feel doable, but also create a sense of accomplishment that keeps you moving forward. Variety can also help fight boredom. While consistency is about repeating actions, it doesn't mean you have to do them in exactly the same way every single time. If you exercise, try different workouts or new locations. If you're studying, switch up your study methods. If you're working on a creative project, explore fresh ideas or new approaches. These small changes keep things interesting while maintaining your overall consistency. A powerful mental trick is to set micro-challenges for yourself. Compete against your past self by trying to beat your previous performance. For example, if you ran 2 miles yesterday, aim for 2.5 today. If you studied for 30 minutes last week, aim for 35 minutes this week. These small challenges create excitement and give you a reason to stay engaged. Most importantly, don't let temporary feelings dictate your long-term actions. Some days you'll feel tired, bored, or unmotivated. That's completely normal. The key is to act anyway. Think of your goal like brushing your teeth. You don't skip it just because you don't feel like it. You do it because it's part of who you are, and because the benefits compound over time. The people who achieve incredible success aren't necessarily more talented or lucky than others. They simply keep going when everyone else stops. They push through boredom. They lean into discomfort. They understand that consistency isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. Whenever you feel like quitting, remember this. The results you dream of are hiding on the other side of boredom and discomfort. If you can push past those feelings, you'll unlock a level of growth and success that most people never experience. Stay patient, stay committed, and keep showing up, no matter how you feel in the moment. Chapter 6. Track progress and celebrate small wins. One of the most powerful ways to stay consistent is to track your progress. When you can see visible evidence that your hard work is paying off, it fuels your motivation to keep going. The problem is that many people give up because they don't realize how far they've come. They focus only on how far they still have to go and forget to notice the progress they've already made. Imagine planting a seed. You water it every day, but for weeks you don't see anything happening above the soil. Many people would stop watering because they assume nothing is working. But underneath the surface, growth is happening. You just can't see it yet. Goals work the same way. Sometimes your progress isn't immediately visible, but that doesn't mean you aren't growing. Tracking your actions helps you trust the process and stay consistent even when results take time to appear. There are many ways to track progress. You can use a physical journal, a wall calendar, or a digital app. The key is to make it simple and visual. For instance, if you're building a habit like exercising or reading, you can mark each successful day with a big check mark or X. Over time, those marks create a chain that you won't want to break. This method, known as the don't break the chain technique, was famously used by comedian Jerry Seinfeld to write jokes every single day. Tracking isn't just about marking days. It's about measuring meaningful progress. If your goal is to save money, track the amount you've saved each week or month. If you're trying to lose weight, record your measurements or how your clothes fit, not just the number on the scale. If you're learning a new skill, keep a record of milestones you've achieved. When you see these numbers or milestones improving, it creates a powerful sense of accomplishment that drives you to keep going. Alongside tracking, it's equally important to celebrate small wins. Many people wait until they've reached their big final goal before they allow themselves to feel proud or happy. But this mindset makes the journey feel long and exhausting. Instead, celebrate the small steps along the way. Did you stick to your workout schedule for an entire week? That's worth celebrating. Did you finish a difficult chapter of a book you're writing? celebrate that too. Celebrating doesn't mean throwing a huge party or spending lots of money. It can be as simple as giving yourself a moment to pause and acknowledge your effort. You might treat yourself to a nice cup of coffee, take a relaxing walk, or share your progress with a supportive friend. These small celebrations create positive emotions, which train your brain to associate consistency with pleasure. This makes it easier to stay motivated over the long term. However, be careful about how you reward yourself. Don't choose rewards that undermine your progress. For example, if you've been eating healthy for a month, rewarding yourself with a massive junk food binge might undo some of your hard work. Instead, pick rewards that align with your goals or are neutral. The key is to reinforce your progress, not sabotage it. Another powerful benefit of tracking and celebrating progress is that it helps you identify patterns. When you record your actions, you'll start to notice what works and what doesn't. For instance, you might realize that you're most productive in the morning, or that certain environments make it harder for you to focus. With this insight, you can make smarter decisions about how to structure your time and energy. Tracking also provides a valuable boost when you hit a plateau. There will be times when your progress slows down or feels invisible. During these moments, looking back at how far you've come can remind you that your efforts haven't been wasted. It's like hiking up a mountain. Sometimes you need to stop, look back, and appreciate the distance you've already covered before you keep climbing. Finally, tracking and celebrating progress builds momentum. Success is addictive. When you see consistent progress, no matter how small, it creates a snowball effect. Each small win makes you want to keep going, which leads to even more wins. Over time, this momentum becomes unstoppable. Consistency is built one step at a time, and tracking your journey ensures you never lose sight of those steps. By celebrating your small victories, you train yourself to enjoy the process rather than just obsessing over the destination. This not only keeps you consistent, but also makes the journey far more rewarding and meaningful. Remember, big results are nothing more than a series of small, consistent actions stacked over time. Keep tracking, keep celebrating, and keep moving forward. Chapter 7. Overcome setbacks and stay flexible. No matter how determined you are, setbacks are inevitable. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always go according to plan. You might get sick, face unexpected work demands, experience personal challenges, or simply lose motivation for a few days. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not that they never experience setbacks, it's that they learn to overcome them and stay flexible. The first step in handling setbacks is acceptance. Understand that setbacks are a natural part of any journey. They don't mean you've failed, and they certainly don't erase the progress you've already made. Every successful person has faced challenges along the way. What separates them is their ability to pick themselves up, adjust, and keep moving forward. Instead of feeling guilty or frustrated, see setbacks as feedback. Ask yourself, what went wrong? And what can I do differently next time? This mindset turns obstacles into learning opportunities. Flexibility is key to staying consistent during tough times. Life will throw curveballs, and rigidly sticking to your plan without adjusting can lead to frustration or giving up. For example, if your goal is to work out daily but you catch a cold, pushing yourself too hard can make things worse. Instead, adapt. Perhaps you can do light stretching, take a walk, or focus on nutrition while you recover. Being flexible doesn't mean giving up. It means finding a way to stay on track even when circumstances change. Another strategy is to plan for setbacks in advance. Think about possible obstacles and prepare solutions ahead of time. For instance, if you know your evenings are often busy, schedule your workouts in the morning. If you tend to skip studying when friends invite you out, set aside alternative time or combine socializing with productive activities. Anticipating challenges reduces the chance that you'll be thrown off course when they arise. It's also important to reframe your mindset around setbacks. Instead of seeing them as failures, see them as part of the growth process. Every time you encounter a difficulty and push through it, you're building resilience. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your discipline, making it easier to stay consistent in the future. Remember, the path to success is rarely a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and occasional obstacles. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you face setbacks. Sometimes, seeking advice, guidance, or support from someone more experienced can provide a fresh perspective and help you get back on track faster. Whether it's a mentor, coach, or friend, having someone to guide and encourage you during tough times can make a significant difference in maintaining consistency. Lastly, practice self-compassion. It's easy to criticize yourself for missing a day or falling behind, but harsh self-judgment can lead to guilt and demotivation. Instead, acknowledge what happened, forgive yourself, and refocus on taking the next step. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. A single setback does not define your journey. How you respond to it does. By learning to overcome setbacks and stay flexible, you make consistency sustainable. Life will always have challenges, but with the right mindset, preparation, and adaptability, you can continue making progress no matter what. Remember, success is not about never falling. It's about getting up every time you do. Final words. Consistency is not something that happens overnight. It's a skill, a mindset, and a daily practice. Forcing yourself to stay consistent requires a combination of a strong why, a clear plan, supportive routines, accountability, and the ability to push through boredom, discomfort, and setbacks. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, and trusting that your small, consistent actions will lead to massive results over time. Remember, consistency isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Missing a day or facing obstacles doesn't mean you've failed. What matters most is getting back on track, learning from your mistakes, and continuing to move forward. Every small action you take compounds into meaningful change, and over time you'll look back and realize just how far your persistence has taken you. If you want to build unstoppable discipline and achieve the life you've always dreamed of, start today. Find your why, make a realistic plan, create supportive systems, hold yourself accountable, track your progress, celebrate small wins, and learn to overcome setbacks with flexibility and resilience. These 8 strategies will help you stay consistent no matter what challenges come your way. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mind-Blowing Motive for more motivational content that inspires you to take action and transform your life. Remember, consistency is the bridge between your goals and your success. Start building that bridge today and watch your dreams turn into reality. Keep pushing, keep growing, and stay consistent. Mind-blowing motive.